Hey everybody, are you looking for a new compound bow this year, but you don't want to pay that flagship price tag? We've got 3 great options from Bear Archery. We're going to tell you all about them. And that's what we're looking for. Pretty darn good. 329.8. And that one was screaming. You can still get these bows to perform the way you want them to. Shot number 1, dead deer. All right, so we're gonna start here with our most affordable bow in the lineup here. This is the legit Maxx. And this one's gonna have an MSRP with the ready to hunt package on it of $460. So that is a great price for it. And one of the things that's great about it is, you know, they had the legit in the line before. What they changed on it was they've added the integrate features. So you're gonna notice the integrate dovetail. We do have the Whisker V biscuit, the integrate version of that rest, and then we do have a 4-pin trophy ridge sight that is mounted on the Picatinny rail. So they've added the integrate features to the legit to come up with the legit Maxx. But we'll talk about the accessories here in a minute. What we have is a 30-inch bow axle to axle. You're gonna have a 6¼ inch brace height. And this is going to be one of those super adjustable bows. So this is going to be a great bow, you know, for new archers, young archers. We're going to have a draw length range of 14 inches up to 30 inches. And we're going to have a draw weight range from 10 pounds to 70 pounds. So the let off is going to be 75%. You know, as we mentioned, this is the most affordable of the bows. So there are several places where Bear is able to have some cost savings. You're going to have a very basic cable slide here. This is what your cables, you know, as you go through the draw cycle, this is just going to slide on the cable arm. That's been around forever. Super effective, but again, that's a way they're able to save some costs. Now let's talk about that ready to hunt package, what it comes with. So you're gonna have your 5-inch stabilizer, your wrist sling. As we mentioned, you're gonna have your 4-pin trophy ridge sight. That is a Picatinny mounted sight. You are gonna have the trophy ridge Whisker V biscuit. So that's nice there. It is gonna come with a D-loop. It's gonna come with the peep sight that's got the tubing. That makes sure when you draw, the peep sight is always perpendicular to your face. And then it is going to have a 5-arrow quiver. So that is everything that you're going to get in the ready to hunt package with the legit Maxx. All right, next up we're going to have the Legend 30. This is the next bow in line in terms of affordability. With the ready to hunt package, this is going to have a sale price right around $630. And what we have is a 30-inch bow, axle to axle. It's going to have a 6.375-inch brace height, so a little over a quarter, a little less than a half. And again, this is going to be one of those super adjustable bows. This one's going to go from 18-inch draw to 31 inches, and you're going to be able to get draw weight range from 14 to 70 pounds. Now, what I wanted to show you on this one is this one has a little added feature to try and save you on some of that performance. You know, when you have one of those super adjustable bows in terms of draw length, 18 to 31 inches, and then we say that the draw weight, 14 to 70 pounds, you know, when you're down at 18 inches of draw length, you're not going to be pulling 70 pounds. You're just not going to get to that. But how much performance you lose as you go down in draw length can vary. And so what Bear did is, if you look right here, they have this, your cable has on this post here, and you have a 1, 2, and a 3. So what you're going to do right now, I have this set at 30 inches and it is at 70 pounds and I'm in the 1 position. So as I go down in draw length, I'm going to move up to the number 2 position, and then my shortest draw lengths, I'm going to be at the number 3. Again, what that allows Bear to do is to help you still maintain some of that performance. So for instance, when I take this down to 18-inch draw length, which that's going to be the shortest draw length, I'm going to be up in the number 3 position. The actual draw weight range is going to be from 12 to 44 pounds. So there's 10 turns that you can take out of this limb bolt. In any one of the cable positions, 10 turns is your max. So when it's 10 turns out, you're going to be at 12 pounds of draw weight. When you screw it all the way in, your max is going to be 44 pounds. Again, that's at your 18-inch draw length. So then that ratio is going to vary as you move up and change that cable position. But just a great system Bear has to kind of minimize the efficiency loss that's going to come when you go down in draw length. But the Legend also features those integrate mounts. You can see I've got the Whisker V-Biscuit rest on here, and that is the integrate version. I do have the dovetail machined. My 4-pin trophy ridge sight, again, is also mounted to Picatinny rail. So we do have that integrated system in there. You're going to have this grip. This is a nice rubberized grip that Bear has on this bow. It is removable if you want to shoot off the riser, but for those cold days bow hunting, this thing is nice. That's going to feel nice on your hand as compared to the aluminum of the riser. So like the Legit, this one is going to also have right here, you can see in that hole, that's going to be your draw length. That's how you're going to know what the draw length is. So you're just going to move the position of the module to get it to where you want to draw. And as we mentioned, this one is the ready to hunt package. Same as the Legit, 5-inch stabilizer, wrist sling, 4-pin trophy ridge sight. We already mentioned Whisker V-Biscuit. You're going to have your D-loop. This one is going to come with a more traditional peep sight. That's going to be a 1/4-inch peep they have there. And then again, your 5-arrow detachable quiver. And the way that works is you're going to have this little lever right here. I push that up. Now my quiver is unlocked. I can remove it if that's how I want to hunt from the tree. Comes time to go back. Just put that back in. Lock it back in place. And this one does have a cable roller as compared to that cable slide. That just makes it a lot smoother in the draw cycle. As you draw back, you're going to have a roller on the back side of the cable arm here. The cables themselves are on rollers. It just makes it smoother for the draw cycle. So that's a nice feature as well. All right, our third bow. This is our bow that's going to be at the top of the budget bow price points. So we have the Whitetail INT. This one's going to be with the ready to hunt package. This one's going to price in at about $730. This is a 31-inch axle to axle bow. There's going to be 2 versions. You're going to have a 45 to 60 pound version, and then you're going to have a 55 to 70 pound. That's what I have here, the 55 to 70 pound version. Other one's going to be 45 to 60. That's your draw weight. Your draw length is going to go from 26 inches to 30 inches. And this one has Bear's EKO cam. So there's a lot of adjustability that's available in this. And what you're going to see here is I have rotating modules. And this one uses the more traditional A, B, C, D, F, G versus the numbered positions for your draw length. And that's because you're going to have different positions for your draw length and your let off. So the let off on this bow is adjustable to 75 or 80 or 85 or 90%. Right now I have it at 90%. And so that's going to work. That's going to be a system between your draw stop, which is right here, and your module position. So they have a chart that comes with the bow that will tell you the various positions that you need to be in. I'm at 30 inches at 90% let off, and my module position is 0.5 with the arrow on the draw stop. The draw stop is in the A position with the arrow pointed to the minus. That's just to give you an example of how you can adjust things to get between those different draw lengths and different let-offs. So if you're familiar with the Bear lineup, they've had the Whitetail Maxx in their lineup. This is the Whitetail INT. It's the same bow, but it includes the integrate features. I've got integrate rest mount back here. I've got the Whisker V-biscuit in there. And at the front, it does have the Picatinny rail, another integrate style feature that they have there. And once again, we have the ready to hunt package. So we've got the 5-inch stabilizer, the wrist sling, the Trophy Ridge 4-pin sight, the Whisker V-biscuit integrate style mount. We are going to have a D-loop. We're going to have that standard peep sight, 1/4 inch, and it's going to have the 5-arrow detachable quiver as well, just like the others. And like the Legend, the Legend 30, this one also has your cable roller. Again, helps with that draw cycle. All right, so these bows come with all the accessories. That's that RTH, so we don't have to put anything on them. But what I wanted to show is, we consider these to be budget bows because they're not at flagship prices. But I wanted to show that you can still get these bows to perform the way you want them to. In other words, what we want from a bow is you want to be able to tune it. So you want to be able to have it shoot a bullet hole through paper. You want it shooting straight. And you want to be able to aim it successfully, to hit what you're aiming at. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tune all 3 of these bows. I'm going to shoot them at 20 yards. We're going to go outside and we're going to shoot them at distance, just to show that even though they are budget bows, they will still allow you to be successful in what you want to do as a bow hunter, 3D, target archery, whatever you want to do. You can do that with a quote-unquote budget bow. All right, first step, we're going to check timing. We're starting with the legit Maxx. And this one is way off. All right, top cam was fast, so we want to put twists into that cable. All right, that's good. Next up, we will check the Whitetail INT. All right, that one's good. Now we'll go for the Legend 30. That one's good too. Timing's right on. All right, now that we know our timing is good on all these, we want to check our center shot. 13/16, so this one's good to go. This one, our knock point is too high, so we're gonna have to put on a new D-loop. All right, so you could twist this D-loop around to move it down to get it in the position, but it's just easier for me to take it off and put a new one on. Good to go. Same thing, gonna have to lower our D-loop. Good to go. All right, we're gonna take all 3 of these out here, see how they do through paper. All right, so excuse our makeshift paper tuner here. We still haven't finished building our range out, but this will work for what we need to do. Just got a couple of light stands here. All right, so first up we have the Whitetail INT, and we are at 70 pounds, 30-inch draw. So I've got my Black Eagle Rampage 250 spine. And that's pretty darn good. Let's shoot another one just to be sure. Yeah, Perfect. Right there, that's what we want to see. All right, next up, we got the Legend 30. This is our paper tune. Ooh. That one's a little off, but I think that was me. That was my fault. Still showing just a hair knock high. Yeah, that's it. Okay. There we go. So we got our bullet hole. What I was having to figure out there was this is a different grip. And so for this one, I needed more heel pressure. When I was giving it, when I was putting the pressure up top here, I was getting a knock high tear. As soon as I just changed my pressure down to low, it brought that arrow down into a bullet hole. So I just had to figure that out. The arrow rest, the arrow alignment was good. It's just figuring out my hand position. All right, so here we go with the Legit Maxx paper tune. Oh, that is just a hair knock high. All right, so we're back here with the Legit Maxx. I did finally get this thing to work for me. I'll take a shot here and then I'll tell you what I had to do for our tuning purposes. All right, there you can see right there. It's not entirely perfect, like spot on perfect, but it's pretty close. I have no left and right. Just have a little bit of vertical tear in there. But, so this, as we mentioned, this is the least expensive bow. So this is the bow that I would expect to give me the most trouble for tuning, that I'd have to do the most work on. And I mean, that's a pretty good hole right there. That your arrow flight, you get a hole like that at this distance, your fletching is going to correct that once that arrow starts going downrange. But here's what I did have to do. So what happened yesterday was, we set the timing in there. Then when I came out here and started shooting, the timing went out. So this bow was right out of the box. I hadn't shot it at all, so it probably needed a couple shots to through the bow in order for the strings to settle in. Even still, I had to do some unusual things, not unusual, but different things in order to get the timing right. So you're gonna see these devices right here. It's gonna be one there, they're little hourglasses, and then one over here on my cables. That's called the Conquest in-time cam timing system. So what was happening was when we're doing our timing, you twist the cables, and a half twist, that's the least amount of twist you can put into a cable. A half twist on either side was too much. It would not bring things into time. So these devices, you put them into the cables and it acts, what it's doing is mimicking like an eighth of a twist or a quarter of a twist, which you can't do with a looped end. You can't have a quarter twist. So I had to install these in there. That got my timing in, and it has stayed consistent. It hasn't changed. And then the other thing I had to do was I had to take some weight down. Even though I'm shooting a 250 spine arrow from 70 pounds, 30 inches, that's the specs say that's correct. I had to take the poundage down. So I took 2 turns out of the limb bolts, and then I was able to get this hole through paper. And remember, my goal was to try to get this bow tuned as best I could. That was the goal. So I could have left the poundage up and just dealt with vertical tear, but I wanted to get that as close as I could get it. But for a $470 bow, that's a pretty good hole. And now we're gonna go outside and shoot these things and see how they perform out there. All right, let's get our speed test here. We're going to start with the Legend 30. Of course, we'll start with getting our draw weight. It is maxed out 30 inches and we are at 69.8. So we're basically right at 70 pounds. So let's see what we got. We got our Easton Sonic. This arrow weighs exactly 350 grains, which is for ATA speed tests. That's the arrow weight you want. .304.8. All right, next up we have the Whitetail INT. Once again, let's get our draw weight. And this one, remember I have set at 90% let off, 68.8. .329.8, and that one was screaming. All right, now we're coming to the legit Maxx. So you remember, to get this to tune, that was our goal. I wanted to get the bow to tune rather than have, you know, the crazy specs and everything, the crazy speeds. So we had to take 2 turns out of the limb bolts. So this one Maxx is at 70, but we're 2 turns out. So it's not going to be 70. This one is 75% let off. So we're right at 60 pounds. So not bad. Let's see what kind of speed we get. .283.3. All right, so we're going to start with the legit Maxx here. And remember, this is our most affordable one at $460 with all the equipment. We don't have the quiver on here. I'm not shooting with the quivers on, so I've just taken that off. But again, remember, this is the one that we reduced the draw weight. We had to do some special things to get the timing in. And what I noticed is that really helped the arrow flight. So more so than arrow speed, I'm interested in accuracy, so getting that arrow flight perfect. So we're shooting here 50 yards. You know, whitetail hunting, you're probably not going to shoot 50, but we figured, what the heck, let's go farther out. The average shot at a whitetail here where we are in Pennsylvania is 20 yards or less, but we're going to shoot at 50, figuring, hey, if we can kill the deer at 50 yards out here on the range, we can do it at 20. So we are shooting at a 3D deer target. That's not giving me an identifiable aiming reference. So again, that's going to allow us to see what this bow can do, since, you know, I can't paste my pin to a defined aiming object. This is going to be like hunting. Let's see what we can do. All right, 50 yards. Right in the heart. That's a dead deer. Shoot another one. Okay, so shooting this bow, again, this is the budget. This is the 460. And it's only got 75% let off, so I definitely feel a difference. It wants to go forward. It's very easy to creep forward. And there is hand shock, there is vibration, but again, this is a $460 bow with everything on it. So I'm not expecting performance of a flagship. That one went higher, but I wanted it to go higher, wanted to try the lungs. But from my perspective, the arrow flight is great. And remember, that's what I wanted to achieve with all that tuning. I want to see good arrow flight. Both of those are directly in line. We'll try a third shot here. Boom, right in there. We'll check them out when we go down there. But again, our point was $460. Can you be successful with it? I think so. I'm shooting at 50 yards. At 20 yards, this thing's going to be a piece of cake. But let's go check out our arrows for the legit Maxx. All right, so in the hunting world, the first shot's the only one that really matters. That's this guy right here. Right in the boiler room, that's a hard shot. Second one, I wanted to come up a little bit, so it did, you know, going for the lungs. And then this was my third one. For my taste, that's a little bit left. But again, we're shooting at 50 yards with a $460 bow with no aiming reference. True hunting situation. 100% you could be successful with this bow. All right, here we go, 50 yards, Bear Legend 30. It's pretty good. A touch to the right. I'm finding that deer though. So what I notice, definitely a much nicer draw cycle than was on the legit Maxx. And this one is gonna have 85% let off, so much nicer let off. Again, $630 bow, fully set up. There is still some vibration. There also is some noise. It is a bit loud, so was the legit Maxx. But again, these are budget offerings here. That's a dead deer. That took his heart out, for sure. Same thing, I'm gonna try and come up a little bit, try and put it right in those lungs, but that shot was money. Right next, just on top of the second one there. So we'll check those out. So again, arrow flight looks good from my perspective. 50 yards we're shooting. And you know, I'm calling that a dead deer. So again, you can absolutely be successful with this one. Let's go take a look at these arrows. All right, here we go. This was our Legend 30. This was the first shot there. I'm calling that like liver. I'm finding this deer because I'm gonna be shooting a 2-inch expandable head on there. But second shot, boom, that's the heart. Third shot, I was trying to go a little bit higher than the second one. I'm right in the scoring ring there. 50 yards, no defined aiming point here. We're in a hunting situation. Absolutely, you can be successful. All right, so the Whitetail INT, 50 yards. This is the top of our budget. Dead deer. So definitely this one feels the nicest of the three, as I would expect. And that 90% let off feels much more comfortable at the back end. However, I will say with that 90%, and we're right at just about 70 pounds, there is a big dump. So there's a good bit of effort in that draw cycle to get that cam to roll over. Little bit of hand vibration, not much, little bit, and this is definitely the quietest of the three. But if we're doing this at 50 yards, true whitetail distances, piece of cake. Perfect. Actually, I like that one better than the first one. Yeah, again, draw cycle, Definitely different with that 90%. Hand shock less, noise less. Just a nicer shooting experience. Right there with the second one. Yeah, Whitetail INT. Again, can you be successful? That's our theme for these budget bows. They are not flagship priced. Can you be successful? We're shooting 50 yards. Let's take a look at these. All right, here we go. Whitetail INT, 50 yards. Shot number 1, dead deer. Shot number 2, not exactly where I wanted it. Shot number 3, right in there. So 50 yards, we're shooting these budget bows. Again, you can be successful with them. All right, so there we have the Bear budget lineup for 2025. We're in 24, but technically these are considered 25 models. We've got the Legit Maxx, Legend XR, and the Whitetail INT. And hopefully you've seen there that you can be successful even with the quote-unquote budget bows. You can be successful with those, you know, and there's different options for whatever your budget allows. Heck, we just want to see you out there bow hunting, shooting a bow. That's what we want to see. So tell us what you think about these bows, you know, what you've seen them do. From a $460 bow up to $730. Give us your thoughts on the Bear offerings this year. If you want to see the 3 bows that we have, be sure to click the link in the description below. These bows are not pro shop only. That is, you can buy them online. So you'll see that when you click the links in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.